In the vast and timeless theater of Greek mythology, the gods did not merely as rulers of the heavens, but as mirrors of human ambition, fear, and destiny. Among them, none shone with a light so paradoxical, so profound as Athena. She is a goddess of many domains: wisdom, crafts, cities, justice, and war. Yet, unlike her kin, who often surrendered to their passions, Athena embodied balance. She was the union of strength and intellect, of clarity and power, of creation and destruction. Her very birth was unlike any other. No cradle, no mother's arms, but instead a violent rupture from the mind of Zeus himself. She arrived in the world not as a helpless infant, but as a warrior in shining armor, spear raised, a cry of battle on her lips. From that moment, she became more than a goddess. She became a symbol. Athena is at once paradox and perfection. She was the warrior who sought peace, the virgin untouched by desire yet overflowing with compassion, the strategist whose intellect saved heroes, and the eternal patron of a city that would become the cradle of democracy and philosophy, Athens. Her story is not just a myth of long-forgotten gods. It is a reflection of civilization's eternal struggle to tame chaos with reason, to build cities upon wisdom, and to remind mankind that strength, without thought, is nothing more than destruction. Tonight, here on Epic Relics, we walk the path of Athena. From her miraculous birth, through the contests and wars she shaped, to the temples that still rise in her name, and the legacy that endures into our modern age. This is her story, majestic, tragic, eternal. The tale begins with fear. The fear of Zeus, king of the Olympians. Long before Athena's birth, the Titaness Metis, goddess of cunning wisdom, was destined to bear children of immense power. An ancient prophecy whispered that her offspring would one day surpass Zeus himself. Fearing the fate that had befallen his own father, Cronus, Zeus acted. He swallowed Metis whole, trapping her wisdom inside his own body. Yet wisdom cannot be caged. Within Zeus, Metis conceived and nurtured a child. That child grew, pressing against his skull, demanding release. The pain became unbearable. The king of the gods roared across Olympus, clutching his head, until at last he summoned Hephaestus, the divine smith. With a mighty swing of his hammer, Hephaestus struck Zeus's skull. The heavens trembled. From the crack burst Athena, fully grown, armored in bronze, her spear flashing like lightning. She leapt forth with a cry that shook gods and mortals alike. From thought, not flesh, she was born. From wisdom and war she emerged. The Olympians gazed in awe. Never had there been such a birth. Never would there be again. Athena's beginning was a proclamation. Wisdom is born through struggle, and clarity through pain.
From the start, Athena was unlike any other deity. Her domains were vast, yet interconnected. She was goddess of wisdom, of crafts, of weaving and shipbuilding, of strategy in war, and of justice in civic life. She was protector of heroes and cities, the guiding hand of kings, the silent whisper behind invention. Her symbols spoke of her power. The owl, sharp-eyed and silent, embodied her clarity of vision. The Aegis, a shield fringed with serpents and adorned with the head of Medusa, inspired terror in enemies and courage in allies. The olive tree, her sacred gift, became the lifeblood of Athens, source of food, oil, and prosperity. She bore many epithets: Parthenos, the virgin, signifying her independence and focus; Promachos, she who fights in the front lines; Polius, guardian of the city; Each revealed a facet of her nature. But most striking was her contrast with her brother Ares. Where Ares was chaos, Athena was order. Where Ares gloried in blood, Athena gloried in strategy. He was the fury of war, she the discipline. He represented violence without thought. She represented thought that gave purpose to violence. In her, war was not destruction, but a tool of protection and survival. Athena was not bound by one extreme, but held all in balance: wisdom and strength, compassion and severity. She was the ideal the Greeks aspired to, strength guided by intellect.
The city that would bear her name was not hers by chance. Once, the rising Polis sought a patron deity. Two Olympians stepped forward: Poseidon, lord of the sea, and Athena, goddess of wisdom. Before the people and King Cecrops, each was asked to present a gift to the city. Poseidon struck the earth with his mighty trident. From the rock burst forth a spring, waters gushing into the air. But the water was salty, unfit for drinking or farming. His gift was power, but not sustenance. Athena then approached. She drove her spear into the soil, and from the ground rose the olive tree, its branches heavy with fruit, its wood strong, its oil precious. It was a gift of nourishment, of trade, of light and prosperity. The people chose Athena. The city was named Athens, forever tied to her wisdom. Yet the story carries deeper meaning. Poseidon's spring represented raw force, unyielding and wild. Athena's tree represented cultivation, peace, and civilization. In choosing Athena, the Athenians declared that their city would be founded not on brute force, but on wisdom and balance, a declaration that still echoes in the ruins of the Acropolis today.
Athena was known as Pallas Athena. The name came from tragedy. As a child, she had a companion named Pallas, and in a sparring match, Athena struck too hard, killing her dearest friend. Stricken with grief, she took her friend's name as her own, to honor her forever. Thus, even in victory, Athena carried the weight of sorrow. Her virginity, too, was not merely a matter of purity, but of sovereignty. She was untouched by Aphrodite's power, immune to seduction and entanglement. She was independent, her purpose undistracted by passion. Yet this virginity was also paradoxical. She was both feminine and masculine, embodying creation and destruction, intellect and force. Athena was also patron of crafts, weaving, pottery, shipbuilding, and metalwork. Just as she pided war, she guided creation. Where Hephaestus built with fire, she built with thought. Where Ares destroyed with rage, she preserved with wisdom. This duality, destruction and creation, war and peace, was her essence. Time and again, Athena appeared in the legends of Greece's greatest heroes. To Perseus, she gave the shield that reflected Medusa's gaze, allowing him to slay the Gorgon without turning to stone. To Hercules, she provided aid and wisdom as he undertook his impossible labors. To Jason and the Argonauts, she offered counsel in their quest for the Golden Fleece. But perhaps her greatest devotion was to Odysseus. In Homer's Odyssey, Athena is his constant guardian. She disguises him, strengthens him, guides him through despair. She inspires his cunning, his eloquence, his endurance. Without her, Odysseus's long voyage home would have ended in ruin. In the Iliad, too, Athena intervenes, restraining Achilles when his wrath nearly destroys him, deceiving Hector at the gates of Troy. She is both the restrainer of rage and the shaper of destiny. Heroes look to her not as a distant goddess, but as a companion, a voice of reason amidst chaos. She was the wisdom behind their courage, the unseen hand that turned defeat into triumph. Athena was worshipped across Greece, but nowhere more fervently than in her city. On the Acropolis of Athens, her temple, the Parthenon, rose like a crown of marble against the sky. Built during the golden age of Pericles, it was both sanctuary and symbol, a declaration of Athens' devotion to wisdom and civilization. Inside stood the colossal Athena Parthenos, a statue of ivory and gold crafted by Phidias, 40 feet tall, her spear raised to the heavens, her shield adorned with mythic battles. Pilgrims would look upon her with awe, seeing not merely a statue, but the very presence of the goddess. The Panathenea, her festival, was the lifeblood of Athenian culture. Every 4 years, processions filled the streets, sacrifices were made, contests of poetry and athletics were held. At its heart was the presentation of a new robe woven by maidens placed upon her ancient wooden idol. It was a renewal of devotion, a reaffirmation of the bond between goddess and city. Athena was worshipped in many forms. Athena Polias, protector of the city; Athena Nike, goddess of victory; Athena Primakos, the warrior at the gates. Her cult spread with Greek colonies, reaching Asia Minor, Sicily, and beyond. Wherever Greeks went, Athena's presence followed, as if civilization itself was inseparable from her.
Though a goddess of wisdom, Athena was never far from battle. Yet her war was not the frenzy of Ares. She embodied discipline, calculation, and purpose. In the Trojan War, she guided warriors, strengthened arms, but also counseled restraint. She deceived Hector into facing Achilles, ensuring the prophecy of Troy's fall. Philosophers saw in her a higher meaning. To Plato, Athena represented the soul's pursuit of reason. To Aristotle, she was the balance of intellect and action. To the poets, she was both destroyer and savior, a goddess whose justice demanded that war, when waged, must serve a noble cause. Athena's duality was clear. She was war and wisdom, violence and justice, not separate, but united. She was the reminder that war, if it must come, must be guided by thought, not fury. In this, she was the ideal warrior, not the brute, but the strategist, not the destroyer, but the protector.
Athena's power did not fade with Greece. The Romans adopted her as Minerva, goddess of wisdom and strategy. In the Renaissance, artists revived her image as a symbol of learning and human achievement. Raphael painted her. Botticelli wove her into allegory. Even today, her image endures. Statues of Athena stand at universities, libraries, and courthouses. She is carved into seals of governments, painted on military emblems, invoked as patroness of scholars and warriors alike. She represents the archetype of the warrior scholar, the philosopher guardian, the balance between intellect and force. She is proof that myth is not merely a story of the past, but a mirror of values we still seek: wisdom, justice, resilience.
Thus ends the tale of Athena. From the pain of Zeus's skull, she leapt into the world, armored and radiant. She gave her city the olive tree, the gift of peace and prosperity. She guided heroes through their darkest hours, stood at the gates of cities, and taught mankind that war, when tempered by wisdom, can protect rather than destroy. Her temples may stand in ruin, her festivals long silenced, yet her spirit endures. In every court of justice, in every academy of learning, in every battlefield where strategy triumphs over chaos, there, Athena still lives. Here on Epic Relics, we do not merely recount myths. We unveil their echoes across the ages, and Athena's echo is eternal. She reminds us that wisdom and strength, intellect and courage are not opposites, but partners.
that civilization itself is built not on brute power, but on the olive tree of reason. The gods may fade, but their shadows endure.